Hey there, fellow listeners. Welcome to Relationship Hunt, where we dive deep into the captivating stories shared by the Reddit community, covering the highs, lows, and everything in between, allowing us to reflect, learn, and grow together. So grab your popcorn and let's embark on this thrilling hunt for love and connection. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our amazing community for more engaging content ahead. I don't know if I'm just overthinking boyfriend's behavior. My boyfriend and I have been together for a bit over 3.5 years, and we've lived together for about 1.5 years. We have a great relationship, and he's really my best friend. We rarely have arguments, but when we do, we're both usually good at expressing and communicating our feelings. We've discussed plans for the future and have the full intention of having our lives together. The only issues we have are pretty minor. But something happened near our anniversary 6 months ago that a part of me can't let go. For a little extra background, my only other relationship was toxic. He cheated on me, manipulated me, and lied over and over, as well as forced me into sex many times. That relationship gave me major trust issues, which I have since got help for, and problems with overthinking. He is the opposite of my current boyfriend. Although my boyfriend treats me amazingly, I still find myself overthinking at times. I have caught him in small lies before, but nothing that has made me too concerned. Anyways, the issue that happened around our anniversary was I noticed he had been adding and talking to random girls on Snapchat. He'd delete the messages, but I'd see the notifications show up. At first, I didn't say anything because I didn't have proof, and I don't know if they're coworkers or something. But then he added his ex, that I had no idea about until I read their message history. I blocked her, he unblocked her and added her back. I blocked her again, he unblocked her. Then when he was in the washroom one night, she tried to add him back. I blocked her and then followed her on Instagram so she can see we've been together for years. Turns out she also has a long-term boyfriend. I talked with my boyfriend and told him that it's unacceptable. Having been cheated on before, I know the first signs, and I told him I won't put up with it, and he can leave if he's going to do that. He understood, and since then he's done a lot better. No more girls on Snapchat, and he doesn't even use Instagram anymore, which he used to use to look at girls he knew from school for his personal time. My birthday was a couple of months after that, and he went all out and spoiled me. Not even just gifts but massages, meals, cleaning. I felt really loved. I've only checked his phone a couple of times since then, and I found nothing suspicious. But Christmas came, and I didn't feel very appreciated. He went to the store on the 23rd and got me 3 stuffed animals. That was my Christmas gift. He makes way more than me, and I spent nearly $400 on his gifts. He spent a lot more time gaming lately. He's also stopped going to the gym. He hardly ever helps me with chores now. I don't know what has changed. Recently, I've noticed that he's been using the private browser to look things up. He tried to hide that from me. That's been making me wonder what he's doing that he doesn't want in his search history. He used to have an issue with porn that soon turned to using photos of girls we knew in real life. I don't care if he just looks at porn, but my mind keeps thinking, what if it's explicit photos? What if it's some chat site? What if he's somehow contacting other girls? I don't want to listen to that voice in my head because I'm probably overthinking. But about a week or two after I noticed he's been using the private browser, he tells me he had a fucked up dream but couldn't remember much besides that there were a bunch of random people from school. I just kind of looked at him and he got almost defensive. He said, "What? Do you have a problem with my subconscious now?" And again this morning he wakes up and tells me he had a fucking crazy dream but couldn't remember anything about it. But why would he dream of guys that he went to school with? I think it's obvious he's dreaming of other girls. Nothing has changed much with our sex life besides the fact that his libido is very low now, so I don't think sex is the issue. I don't really know what to do because I hate overthinking. We've been working really hard for me to trust him again after what happened around our anniversary. I want to trust him. Does this seem strange or suspicious to anyone else? Or is this literally a me problem that I need to keep working on? It's understandable that you're feeling unsure about your boyfriend's recent behavior, especially given your past experiences. While it's important to trust and communicate with your partner, some of his actions and reactions could be raising valid concerns. It might be helpful to have another conversation with him to express your feelings and try to understand each other better. Remember, open and honest communication is key in any relationship. I rang the police on my parents' boyfriend and they're mad at me. I, an 18-year-old female, called the police on my parents' boyfriend who was 29 years old. Throughout my childhood, my parents always had a boyfriend or girlfriend who they introduced to me as aunt or uncle. As I grew older, I began calling them by their name since they were not related to me. I never paid much attention to this arrangement. It was simply the way things were in my household. About a year ago, a man named Mark became a part of our family. Unlike the others, I did not feel a connection with him. There was just something about him that I disliked, so I would avoid him whenever possible. This was easy since he did not live with us like the others sometimes did. One day I was playing sports with my friends and got injured. They helped me get home. Mark was present, and my parents had not returned from visiting friends yet. I reassured my friends that I would be fine, and they left. I was in my room when Mark entered without knocking, which surprised me. He seemed to enjoy my reaction. I demanded he leave, but he told me to calm down. He claimed he brought me some deep heat and painkillers to assist with my injury. I thanked him and reached for them, but he pulled them away. He then applied cream to his hands and attempted to touch my injured leg. In response, I slapped his hand away and asked him what he thought he was doing. He insisted it would be better if he did it, but I asserted that I could handle it myself. Despite this, he persisted in reaching for my leg, causing me to panic and start screaming. He quickly backed away, saying he was only trying to help and that I was being a brat. He then left my room. Feeling scared, I called my friend, and she advised me to call the police. Following her suggestion, I contacted the police, and they arrested Mark after speaking with me. They asked about the whereabouts of my parents, to which I provided the necessary information. My friend and her dad arrived, informing me that I could go home with them. Hours later, my parents arrived at their place, and I burst into tears as I recounted what had happened. However, my dad questioned whether Mark had actually touched me. I confirmed that he had not. In response, my friend's dad interjected, stating that it did not matter because Mark should not have been in my room in the first place. My dad argued that I had misunderstood Mark's intentions and blown the situation out of proportion. This led to a heated argument between my dad and my friend's dad, resulting in my friend's dad kicking them out. He apologized to me for having to witness their argument and advised my friend and me to spend time in her room. Shortly after, my dad texted me, claiming it was all a misunderstanding and suggesting that I should have called them instead of the police. I now feel guilty, thinking that I may have overreacted. Don't feel bad for calling the police, you did the right thing. It doesn't matter if he didn't touch you, he violated your privacy and made you feel unsafe in your own home. Your friend's dad is awesome for stepping in and protecting you. Don't let your parents gaslight you, trust your instincts. Am I the antagonist for repeatedly bringing up a sore point with my husband? My husband and I both come from middle-class Indian families. My parents were financially responsible and do not expect any financial support from me. However, my husband's father made poor financial decisions and sold all of his possessions. Additionally, my husband's birth mother passed away when he was young, and he was raised by his stepmother. He has an older biological sister and a younger stepsister. We earn similar amounts of money. Before our marriage, my husband bought a house in his stepmother's name and is still paying off the home loans. This upset me because he used up his savings right before we were starting our new life together. It has been 3 years since then. He also sends money to his mother and stepsister every month, even though his stepsister is 28 years old and educated enough to find a job. It is expected that he will also pay for his younger sister's wedding. Additionally, his father asks for small amounts of money separately. Although I was aware of the monthly financial support, the home loan, and the money he sends his father, the extent of it was new to me. On the other hand, all of my earnings go towards our family, which has started to make me resentful. He has bought a house for his mother, will pay for his sister's wedding, and sends money home every month. Initially, he agreed to start mutual funds for our family in 2022, but forgot until 2024. When I found out, I was visibly irritated, especially since I had been saving for our family. This issue arose when I was 5 months pregnant. He called his mother and informed her that I was feeling financially insecure because he had bought a house in her name and wanted to add his own name to it. This was something we had discussed, and he had agreed to do it in addition to starting mutual funds. Now, his sisters are offended, and his mother cried on the phone, claiming that I am making him doubt his family's intentions. His elder sister worsened the situation by making snide comments. Originally, we had planned to go to his parents' place for the delivery, as is common in India. However, I feel that the atmosphere there is negative for me during a time when I will be emotionally vulnerable. Meanwhile, my husband has started the mutual funds and contributed a small amount, although it is still only a third of what I have in savings, and believes I should be reasonable now. He also told his father that he will no longer send any money and that he should learn to manage with his pension. However, I cannot stop myself from bringing up this issue repeatedly because, 1. I dread going to his parents' house and facing their taunts and negativity, and 2. I sincerely believe that I have done nothing wrong. He should have considered his family's financial obligations before getting married, instead of making it appear as though my concerns are rooted in insecurity. Am I the asshole for continually bringing up this issue with him, even though I know it is a sensitive subject? I want to prioritize my own well-being and mental health, but I am worried about being perceived as money-minded. It's completely understandable that you're upset and frustrated with your husband's financial decisions, especially considering the timing of them. It seems like there's a lack of communication and understanding between you two regarding your financial plans and priorities. It's important to continue discussing this issue with him and finding a compromise that works for both of you, while also prioritizing your own well-being during this vulnerable time. Am I the antagonist? My roommate says I should be the one to pay for a new trash can. I, a 21-year-old female, live in a house off campus with 2 other roommates. This conversation occurred between one of my roommates, a 22-year-old female. A few weeks ago, my boyfriend accidentally broke a piece of our trash can when he stepped on the pedal to open the lid. As a result, the lid only opens halfway, although it still functions properly. I informed my roommate about what happened, and she insisted on buying a completely new trash can. I explained that the current one works fine, but I agreed to contribute if she wanted to replace it. The trash can in question is a regular step pedal trash can that has been around for a few years and shows some signs of rust. My roommate believed it was bound to break eventually, and any one of us could have caused the breakage if we had stepped on it too forcefully. She argued that it's not meant to last forever. She sent me a link to a $65 trash can, which I found to be overly expensive. Nonetheless, I agreed to split the cost among the three of us, me, her, and our third roommate. A few nights ago she texted me, and the following conversation took place. She asked if I could send her money for the trash can and said it would be $45. I divided this amount by 3 and sent her $15. However, she informed me that I misunderstood and actually owed her $45. Her reasoning for me paying the full amount was that my boyfriend was the one who broke it, and the trash can originally belonged to her from her previous apartment. She claimed that she was being nice for even offering to pay $15 towards it. Additionally, she stated that she would not ask our third roommate to contribute since it was not her fault that the trash can broke. She even said that she initially paid $60 for the current trash can, but I found the exact same one at Walmart for $35, so I suspect she was lying. I responded with my own reasoning. I agreed to send her an additional $15, $30 total, because that's all our current trash can is worth. I am currently interning and not working, so I don't want to spend my limited funds on a mere garbage disposal. Essentially, I would be paying for an upgraded trash can that she would end up keeping when we move out. I also find it unfair that our third roommate isn't expected to contribute if she wants an upgrade, since it's an item we all share in the house. While I could ask my boyfriend to contribute, I don't believe he should have to pay for it at all. After all, he doesn't live here, and it was just an accident resulting from regular wear and tear. I sent her the money, but we haven't spoken since then, and she has been ignoring me while we are at home. Am I the asshole in this situation? It seems like your roommate is being unreasonable by insisting on getting a new trash can when the current one still works perfectly fine, albeit with a slight flaw. You offered to contribute towards the cost if she really wanted to replace it, but her demand for $45 and her reasoning that it was your boyfriend's fault and her personal property from her previous apartment doesn't seem fair. It's understandable that you don't want to spend that much money on a trash can, especially considering your financial situation, and it's also reasonable to expect your third roommate to chip in since it's a shared item. My boyfriend doesn't seem to love me anymore. I'm concerned that my boyfriend no longer loves me. We've been together for almost a year, and in the beginning, he was incredibly sweet, caring, and attentive, making me feel special. However, a few months ago, his behavior started to change. I always make an effort to show him love and make him feel special. I enjoy seeing him happy and smiling, and whenever he's sick, I accompany him to the hospital, buy him medicine, and take care of him. While we don't live together, I often visit him at his house, cook for him while he's at work, clean his house when needed, and eagerly wait for him to come back so I can give him a hug and ask about his day. Now, let's address the current situation. The first time he acted strangely was during dinner at my place. When I asked him what he wanted to eat, he responded with anything and gave me short answers when I asked about his day. Initially, it didn't bother me much, but when I asked him to serve himself, he accidentally shouted at me. This sudden outburst shocked me, especially since it happened in front of my family. However, he later apologized and quickly left. The following day, I asked if he was okay and if he wanted to talk about it, but he declined, so I gave him space. He previously disclosed his anxiety to me, and since then, I've made a conscious effort to be there for him and forgive him when he acts in a way that I disagree with or raises his voice at me, which has been happening frequently. He spends most nights gaming on his computer, and initially, I had no issue with that as it seemed like a way for him to relax and distract himself. He even told me I could use his computer whenever I wanted, although I'm not an active player, so I mainly use it for music and movies when he's not home. However, I discovered that he had been searching for explicit content involving women online, which deeply hurt me. This discovery made me extremely upset, as my body image is one of my major insecurities, and he was fully aware of that. When he returned home a few hours later and noticed my swollen eyes and sadness, he inquired about what had happened. I couldn't look him in the eyes while discussing it because I felt terrible. I simply said I wasn't feeling well and went home. He persistently messaged me, asking if he had done something wrong, so I eventually explained the entire situation to him. He then confessed that he was momentarily out of his mind and had desired to have sex with me, but he apologized and promised to stop. Things were relatively fine for the next few days, with everything seemingly back to normal. However, about 2 weeks later when I stayed overnight at his place, he barely paid any attention to me. Instead, he spent hours playing online games with his friends, went to bed around 1 a.m., and spent 40 minutes on Instagram. It felt as though I wasn't even there. The following morning, feeling bothered, I made the regrettable decision to check his phone. That's when I discovered his recent search history for explicit content involving women. We weren't even fighting at the time. In fact, we were doing great. It was the same day he had told me how special I was to him and that he loved every part of me. Distressed, I left the bed to take a short walk to clear my head. When I returned, he became angry and asked why I had left his side, so I explained everything, unable to stop my tears and the immense pain in my heart. He dismissed me, claiming he had already apologized and there was nothing further he could do, and he proceeded to ignore me for the rest of the morning, as if I had done something terribly wrong. He stopped searching for explicit content, or at least it seemed that way, and things return to normal. However, this week he has been intentionally making me feel bad, telling me that I'm never there for him when he needs me, despite my constant efforts to care for him and be by his side. I am exhausted, and I no longer believe that he loves me. What should I do? It sounds like your boyfriend's behavior has changed, and it's making you feel anxious and insecure in the relationship. It's important to communicate openly with him about your concerns and how his actions are affecting you. If he continues to ignore or dismiss your feelings, it may be time to reevaluate the relationship and prioritize your own emotional well-being. Am I the antagonist for giving the silent treatment over partner's outburst over caring for children while working from home? We have 2 kids in our household, one at school and one at home. I work from home, while my husband travels for work. When he's not traveling, he works 20 hours doing admin work from home at his own pace. During his travels, I am responsible for school drop-off and pickup, coordinating a morning sitter, nap time, and all meals for the kids. This adds up to about 1.5 hours of my 9-hour workday. Additionally, I end up working for an extra 2 hours while watching the kids. So, in my mind, my fully dedicated working hours are 7 instead of the ideal 8. Since my husband has been at home, he complains every day about having to watch the kids all day and feeling exhausted. He wakes up early to go to the gym and helps with breakfast 50% of the time. I prepare school lunch, and then he gets the older kid ready for school. Meanwhile, I work and watch the younger one until he leaves for school drop-off at 8:30. From 8:30 to 12:30, he takes care of the younger child, and I handle nap time. He has free time from 12:45 to 2:30 before leaving for school pickup. He returns at 3:30. I typically finish work between 4:30 and 5, depending on my schedule, which is supposed to be 8-4:30, although sometimes I need until 5 to complete tasks. When I work past 4:30, he loudly yells at the kids because he feels overwhelmed watching them alone. Usually they both want snacks, beverages, or a new TV show. This embarrasses me because I am often on a conference call, and everyone can hear him yelling at our kids or making passive-aggressive remarks like, "I thought you were supposed to be off work," or "so much for your ending times." He will also yell at the kids, saying that he can't be in 2 places at once and that I'm working late again. This behavior is unusual, especially considering that he travels for around 30-40% of the year. He shows no respect for my job, frequently making loud calls to friends and family during the day. He gets upset if I can't stop working so he can use the bathroom and needs to be warned if I'm on a call to avoid barging in. I haven't spoken to him all night because I'm saddened by how overwhelmed he seems while watching the kids all day, as if I'm lounging on a beach with margaritas. When I've tried to discuss this with him and express my frustration, he claims he's joking. But seriously, who has outbursts every day about taking care of their kids when they're away for 30-40% of the year? Am I the asshole for not speaking to him about these outbursts? It sounds like you've been managing a lot of the childcare responsibilities while he's been away, and his behavior is uncalled for. It's important to have a calm conversation with him about this issue and address your concerns. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.